Hey there, Oz.
Hey, Curtis.
Hey, what movie are we watching this week?
This week, we've got a movie marriage of a giant praying mantis
Yeah.
meets Escape from New York
Yeah.
with a healthy dose of candid camera. This week, we're watching Cloverfield.
Escape from New York's really good.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
And I will give it doesn't show up in mine, but I will give props to this that despite the fact of there not being any like real big name actors or stars in this movie, like all of the background characters did a really solid job. Like especially like at the party scene where it's like when you've got so much going on, it's almost like I hope they just threw a real party. Because otherwise, you know what I mean? Because otherwise it's like, then everybody's got to be locked in. And when they're constantly panning the camera around, like everybody's got to stay engaged. And there's, and so that's where the candid camera come from, is it's like, everybody was on, like, thankfully.
It cuts over to Lizzie Kaplan and she's got like her readers on and
picking her nose.
A cup of coffee from craft services.
Exactly.
Like a styrofoam cup.
Yeah, cut this way, and like somebody's getting makeup applied, and you're like, oh,
it says Lizzie on her cup.
Exactly. Yeah. There's just a bunch of director's chairs sitting around. Like, we told you not to pan left. So welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the podcast where we take a monthly theme, this month being kaiju movies.
Yeah.
And it's my week to satisfy the theme, and my contribution is Cloverfield. So I'm one of your hosts, Oz.
I am the other host, Curtis.
And before we get too far into the show, we always want to give a shout out to our blessed Patreon subscribers, Don S, Aaron A, May, K, Melissa L, Colleen K, and Lyle M.
Yes.
Thank you for finding us the way that the government found the footage of this movie.
And although at the time of the recording, we are before Mother's Day when this comes out, it will be after, but happy Mother's Day to all of our, to every mother out there, especially our Patreon subscribers who are also mothers.
Yeah, Don S, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Don S.
So, but yeah, it's Cloverfield. It's a warm blanket for me. You know, I shared at the end of last week that you know, this was the first movie my wife Jenny and I saw together. This was our first date, and it was based on if we enjoyed each other's company at dinner, then we would go see a movie, and we've still watching movies here. It's nearly a little over 17 years, almost 17 and a half years later.
Yeah. Bliss-filled years. Your wife's a big TJ Miller fan, is she?
Loves TJ. She just loves like perms, really.
Perms on men specifically. Likes a good male perm.
She loves a good male perm. So yeah, that's the truth. So so I've got the plot of this movie.
Yes. There's really, as far as the characters go, I'm gonna name 6. There's really I don't think there's any need to name more than a very, very small cast. As you mentioned, you know, there's a party at the beginning, but after that it's just characters running around.
And really, nobody in the party matters. It'd be a real boring party if you didn't have them.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got brothers Rob Hawkins and Jason Hawkins. Rob is the lead character. I think everyone would agree.
Sadie's kids.
Sadie Hawkins.
Yeah. She proposed to their dad.
Yeah. What was that? How it worked?
Yeah.
It could be
that's how Sadie Hawkins dance works. The girl asked the guy.
Oh yeah, there you go. It took me a moment to wrap my mind around. Could be former Bradley University at 76er star Hersey Hawkins.
Could be.
Yeah,
could be.
So yeah, Michael Stahl David plays Rob. The party at the beginning is for him. He's taking a new job in Japan. His brother Jason, played by Mike Vogel, is throwing the party.
I don't think they're real brothers.
No.
I mean, why would a mother name both their kids Michael? Unless you're George Foreman.
Well, according, per Wikipedia, one is Michael, one is Mike.
That's fair. Yeah.
Let's see. Jason's girlfriend is Lily Ford, played by Jessica Lucas. We've got Odette Yustman as Beth McIntyre.
Biff.
Rob's girlfriend, sort of, and was a friend, and then a girlfriend, and then not, and then maybe, and
she's the checkpoint of the movie.
Correct. Yeah. And then we've got T.J. Miller as their pal Hud.
Yeah, this was pre-awful. Well, pre-publicly awful T.J. Miller.
Yes. So yeah, and Hud is the one behind the camera for the vast majority of the movie.
Yeah.
Also named Hud because of heads-up display as well.
It's true. Like, he's the cameraman, so he's in charge of what we see.
Then we have Patreon subscriber Melissa L's favorite actress, Lizzie Kaplan.
I'm sure.
Playing Marlena Diamond, as Wikipedia describes her, a fellow partygoer and Hud's crush.
Yeah. I know that Patreon subscriber Melissa L is not a Lizzie Kaplan fan.
Not a Lizzie Kaplan fan.
No.
She's not a fan of like wafy actresses.
Yeah, I know she's not. Neither is she a fan of the Deschanels.
No, kind of, especially Zoe, which really kind of is the exemplar of wafy actress.
Yes,
yeah. There are a couple sort of names that are party goers.
Yeah,
I'll mention, just for the sake of mentioning, Theo Rossi, who went on to star in Sons of Anarchy, is there as a party goer, and we also have Ben Feldman, who actually went to the party with Beth and did have a couple of lines in the movie. He wanted to be in the show Superstore.
Yeah,
so. Couple kind of
just like I've seen that guy somewhere. And this movie came out in 2008, so it was like before those guys. Like, you notice them if you watched their more popular shows prior to this movie.
Yeah,
if you watch this movie first, you're not going to recognize who they are.
Yeah. Before we get into the plot, I think we should take a moment and talk about like kind of the viral marketing campaign.
Oh yeah,
yes. Yeah. So like, tell me how you recall experiencing that.
Well, I kind of made not even really intending it, as I made a comment to you before we hit record that I was like, do I want to add something else to my movie Marriage? And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
And that is what the viral marketing for this movie was. Cloverfield hit out, and we talked about something similar when we talked about the Blair Witch Project. I think did we cover that on the show, or was
no? We haven't. That one must have been your other show.
Yeah, it was my other show. We talked about the marketing and how 2008. Now we're well into the internet, but the crew, J.J. Abrams more specifically, as producer, was really on top of utilizing the internet and branding. Now, granted, these are completely artificial, made-up brands, but really built a viral campaign around them to kind of create all of these different marketing channels that all fed back into Cloverfield.
Yeah. Well, and again, as you mentioned, this movie was 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like really kind of at the dawn of social media as well.
Yeah, like this movie came out January 18th. Like, it debuted the weekend that my wife and I went on a date. So like, it wasn't like the second week. Like, we went into this knowing nothing, because that's how they marketed this movie. They built it like an event. You don't want to miss this, and they teased and they teased and they teased. And it was just so well done and so well choreographed and structured from beginning to end. We just don't see much of that in Hollywood anymore.
There's not a lot of surprises anymore.
No. And so I miss those days. I miss the days of movie trailers that really had nothing, like they told you nothing about the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's just enough to whet your appetite to get you in the seat. And you're not spoiled by what's in the trailer. I remember, the trailer for Ridley Scott's Alien was just a masterpiece of just tension, because you didn't know what you were looking at, and there was nothing spoiled about the movie, but you knew you wanted to go see it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how this was built. Not comparing Cloverfield to Alien by any means.
Sure.
But just very well done on capitalizing on what the internet was providing at the time to draw attention to this film. And it paid off. I mean, the movie made $172 million and has spawned a pseudo, trilogy.
Yeah. And, the irony is this movie did go on to, I guess, kind of establish a franchise in a way.
Bit, yeah.
But again, just kind of coming back to the present here in May of 2025, when we're recording this, most things that come out these days are, our tent pole IPs,
All of
known IPs and franchises, and those can work, but again, you lose the mystery of kind of Cloverfield and Alien and
for sure,
a Blair Witch.
And in 2008, theater was the only place. Really, like Netflix was still in their infancy on streaming, but now every studio's got a streaming arm. To where what used to be movies that they all had to go to the theater are now just dumped on streaming, because we're not going to market it the way we need to market a motion picture. We'll just dump it to our subscribers and they'll watch it and we'll go from there. And so it really has, it's kind of robbed that feel of what attending going to the theater and enjoying a film used to be. So nice. I like that little dialogue, because the marketing on this was huge.
Yeah.
And I was saying at the same time, but showed you nothing.
Yeah.
I remember, I'll get back to, it just popped in my head. I remember the huge, like industry outrage, because when there was a toy line that had kind of jumped the gun, because nobody knew what the Cloverfield monster looked like prior to seeing the movie. And there was and for the average person, it didn't matter, because this was this McFarlane Toys, you had to be a collector to find this stuff, but they had jumped the gun and leaked some images on what their toy was going to look like, which if you were down far enough into that rabbit hole, you got a sneak peek of what the monster was going to look like before seeing the movie. And there were people that were pretty irritated by it.
Yeah. And now that happens routinely.
It happens purposefully. It's the flipped of, now who the big bad's going to be in a Marvel movie because the Lego set is out.
Yep. Well, there's Red Hulk. He's going to be in Captain America: Brave New World.
Yeah. There's and again, it's still all organized and orchestrated, but it doesn't do anything for the pure enjoyment of film.
Yeah. We should also mention this is a Bad Robot production. J.J. Abrams studio, Drew Goddard involved, Matt Reeves involved, and all three of them, went on to have. Well, I mean, Abrams was becoming established with Alias and Lost,
right?
But Goddard and Reeves are industry names that have been for the last 20 years.
At that time they felt like what we'd call now tech bros. They weren't old school Hollywood, but they had talent. And they had their thumb to the pulse of what new Hollywood could be like. But it's still, for people like you and I, it was cool, but it's but Spielberg and, and so it was this weird, transition baton handing off of, we're going to give it to the tech bro. But J.J. Abrams he's a very successful dude.
Spielberg, Paul W.S. Anderson.
Exactly. Yeah. All of them.
McG.
G. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Just like McG.
Yeah,
the Farrelly brothers.
What was the guy who did One Crazy Summer? He had the adjective in his name.
As something savage,
something or other. Yeah,
I'm looking it up right now because Savage Steve Holland.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not enough adjectives in people's names.
No,
these days.
Definitely not. So, all right. Well, thank you for the cast introduction, and let's get to the plot. Now, this movie's tight.
Yeah,
85-minute runtime.
Yes, very quick.
And it's like a, almost like a middle distance runner. You speed up as you go, because this movie drags a little bit early on.
You're sprinting about halfway through.
Yeah,
it's literally
sprinting.
Cases, yes.
It definitely is one of those. It's one of those layered kind of movies. Now, I told you I started listening to some of our older episodes, and one I just finished yesterday was Secretary.
Yeah,
and that's a movie we talked about that subsequent watches unlocks a little bit more understanding and detail. And this is another one of those. If you can get through the motion sickness of Cloverfield, you should probably enjoy your first ride, because it's not bad. But as you watch more, you could pick up some of those little subtle marketing things that they tie in, and Bad Robot references, and it's pretty cool. This movie kicks off it's a found footage film.
Yeah.
And so this movie kicks off like a found footage film. Sometimes they do. I think the better found footage films do a pretty good job of letting us know right off the bat how the footage was acquired.
Yes, it's not just, whoop, I just ran across this VHS.
Yeah. And so I like that when at least the filmmakers are aware that some people may wonder why. And this movie ties it in. We are watching some blippity blurps of the US like Department of Defense.
Yep.
That there's code. None of it makes sense. Like there's just little bits of code, that this is footage from a camcorder that was, found in what's formerly known as Central Park.
It's formerly known as Central Park.
So it's those little things like that, that, there's some disclaimers and it's just stuff, but they do drop the blip Cloverfield in there.
Yeah.
But again, as a first time viewer, when this came out, you don't know what any of that stuff means. And so the tape starts playing. We meet Rob and Beth. There's a date. It's camcorder, so that stuff is on the screen. You could take note of it if you want to, but we're looking at like late April. Rob and Beth wake up in an apartment, probably the best apartment in New York.
Very nice apartment.
As we're overlooking Central Park, and it's a great view.
Yeah.
Rob's got a great view out the window and a great view inside as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then the camera, the footage just kind of blips over, and now we're in like late May. It's just little these things. It was still that same day. They're going to Coney Island.
Yeah.
Fast forward about a month. Rob has the ages of these people is unestablished.
Yeah. I get the impression they're all like mid-20s.
That's kind of what I got too.
Yeah.
Mid to late 20s ish, to where they're not completely wet behind the ears, but their suits aren't tailored either.
Yeah. Well, even at one point, they're talking about, Rob had a thing for Beth back in college.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
so they're out of college. They're young professionals.
Well, and it gets funny too. We know they're not too old because they still want to go out and party.
Yeah.
Like if they were in their mid 30s, you guys aren't getting together for this.
No,
you're finding a reason to skip it.
And let alone your mid 40s, where it just sounds exhausting to me.
It is like, oh my God.
Ugh.
Even talking about going to a party sounds
like, no, I'd rather just go take a nap and
let me know how it went.
Or don't. That's also okay.
It's true. We never have to talk about this again.
No,
I have a good time though.
Yeah. Enjoy. That's great.
Yeah. So we're late May, and Jason, Rob's brother, and Lily, Jason's fiance, they're going to throw a surprise party, and we're in Rob's apartment.
Yeah,
they're throwing, and like everybody they know is there, except one, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
they're throwing a going away party for Rob, as Rob has received. He works at bank and received promotion.
Within bank.
And so he it's clearly not a regional bank, as he has to go to Japan for his new job.
Yeah.
Okay. This to me, like, I laugh. It sounds like, hey, anybody want this promotion? I'll take it. You have to move to Japan. I'm good. So Rob's like fifth in line for this promotion, but nobody else wanted it. So Rob's like, okay, I'll go because I'm heartbroken.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to run from the girl who I think is better than me.
Yeah. So, all of this is on the same tape. That's important to remember here, because this is the DoD's discovered found footage. If the Department of Defense is showing this to us, like we're supposed, they should have just fast forwarded. Like
the whole movie's just the tracking lines on the screen.
Yeah. So anyway, Rob shows up, and it's your
got him.
It's your Hollywood surprise party.
They got him good.
So Rob, instead of being thrilled to see every friend in his life, quickly asks. Apparently, there's no parents involved, because we're throwing. Rob's going to Japan, but are mom and dad around? No, just brother.
No.
Oh, well. So Rob immediately asks, where's Beth?
Where's Beth?
Where's Beth? So we also meet HUD as Lily prior to Rob's arrival. Lily doesn't want to handle the camera, so she finds HUD, who's just friend.
Well, she initially passed it off to Jason, and Jason didn't want to do it and passed it off to HUD.
That's right.
Much to Lily's dismay.
Yeah, because she knew HUD's a screw up, and HUD never shuts his mouth. So we've got to trust you. Basically, take this camera, HUD, and just go around and interview people and just get something fun about Rob, so that we could give this tape to Rob and he can get homesick in Japan.
You can tell HUD is really struggling with the responsibility too.
Oh, big time. Because he's like, I'm TJ Miller. Like, I'm not responsible for anything.
And wait 10 years and some pretty awful stuff is going to come.
You'll see how terrible it is to put any faith in me at all.
You don't want me to be responsible for anything.
And so, so Rob shows up. Rob's looking for Beth. Beth's not there. Rob's heartbroken. Literally, it's his surprise party. We see Rob just sitting around a lot at his own surprise party.
Just moping.
No one is talking to him as he's about to leave for Japan. So, like, why were these people invited to the party? Who cares? Beth does show up. Beth shows up with new boy.
With guy from Superstore.
With guy. And not cool, Beth. Like,
nope.
Not cool. Like, you should have known this wasn't cool.
And again, this is a month. After they finally hooked up.
Yeah. This was a month after our Coney Island, whatever. Yes. But yeah, this was not cool. Like I'll be there, but I'm bringing man friend.
Yeah.
And so, which obviously Rob is irritated by, he gets a little smart. Beth gets upset and leaves. And now Rob's even more melancholy.
Yeah. Like, poor Rob.
Oh, he's pulling an Eeyore here. Like, he's so bad. So this party scene from a plot perspective is important.
Yeah, and it does establish the motives for the characters and the relationships. I know the first time I saw it, I felt like this scene just dragged.
Yes, it really did drag.
It wasn't as bad upon subsequent viewings.
Right, because it does play a role. But the first time you've seen this movie, you're like, is this what this is about? Because this sucks.
Well, and also the first time you saw it, assuming you saw it in the theaters, like, you're hot on the heels of all the viral marketing.
Exactly.
And you're just like, show me the monster.
Yeah. Like, I'm here for, and this scene does feel draggy, but on subsequent viewings, like you said, it is important, because otherwise the actions of our characters for the duration of this movie, which are dumb anyway, are just really dumb. So Beth leaves and they're trying to cheer Rob up. They go up to the rooftop, and this is where everything kind of starts. Again, we're in New York City, because these are 20 somethings, and clearly they all have enough money to have great apartments right there in the city. Yeah. It's like Friends. At least Friends explained it. Like, there was rent control on that apartment. This is just like, Rob, you're going to give up New York I got promotion at bank. I have to go to Japan.
How is bank going to make it without me?
Right. It can't, because my suit's too big. And so we get an earthquake followed by power outage.
Yeah.
In New York, which obviously is kind of freaky.
Not known for earthquakes.
Right. So everyone naturally is a little panicky, just because they're not scared, but just what's going on.
Yeah.
Flip on the TV, and there's a news report of, like, an oil tanker that had been, like, flipped over near Liberty Island. So, okay, this is now double weird. So naturally, everybody goes back outside because they're curious and they're in their 20s, and we get explosions now.
Yeah, off in the distance.
Yeah, not far enough off in the distance to where, but like, you can see it, you can hear it.
Yeah.
And the debris from this explosion comes flying at them.
Yeah.
So that
probably about a mile away.
Yeah. So it's a really cool way to like, our characters are introduced to the destruction of what's going on when we are. But I looked at this flying debris as the invitation for our characters, because, like, now they have a reason to be in there.
Yeah.
Despite being so far away from all of it, like, well, the debris came to my front yard. So naturally everybody's freaking out. They head to the streets, because that's what you do. When there's destruction outside, you go outside.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
I will say, at the risk of being hypocritical, I am the guy that when it's like storming really bad, I'm the one who's like standing on the porch and like looking out the window.
Well, yeah.
Because if I see the tornado first, then I can protect my family better.
Yeah, Jenny and I are the same way. We're like, you kids go down the basement. We're gonna go stand outside for a minute.
Yeah,
like, the kids are smart enough to be like, please don't. And we're like, no, it's okay. We'll be fine because we're older and slower than you are. But
I'm gonna hold this sheet metal over my head as I go watch the storm.
I'm gonna go out here with this umbrella, this metal umbrella,
and hold it as high over my head as I can.
I don't want to get wet. So everybody's out on the street now. HUD is still filming everything, like an obedient cameraman. Yeah. For somebody who lacked the responsibility a few moments ago, he's been very responsible as a cameraman.
He's been very diligent with it,
pointing at everything the viewer needs to see.
Exactly.
And so as they're standing there, they hear a crash, like a major crash, and come skidding down the street is the head of the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And this was probably the only big viral thing in the marketing that from the movie is this like severed Statue of Liberty head.
I remember that sold me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That moment sold me.
Because I mean, you could, even if it wasn't practical, it was done well.
Yeah.
And so now, obviously, even more chaos because they know how far from Liberty Island they are.
Mm-hmm.
And when the head of the Statue of Liberty is in your front, is landing on your street from that far away, something's up.
In front of your local Sbarro.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like Lady Liberty never had a chance to get a slice.
Nope.
So what we see now is a lot of hide and seek.
Yeah.
Because again, this whole movie is nurturing our feelings or our energy. Mm-hmm. They know exactly what they're doing. They're taking the Jaws approach of less is more. Let's not show it all. Let's give just enough of a hint. So again, HUD, everybody's running in chaos. Motion sickness can and will get you in this film if you're got a sensitive tummy. So HUD catches this what looks to be this giant creature several blocks away. Again, we're filming on a VHS camcorder.
Yeah. In
2008 for some reason, but that's neither here nor there. As it's walking, we just see a part of it as it goes behind, as the Woolworth building collapses.
Yeah.
So like we're talking like major New York, which shows how great this apartment is location wise because it's right by everything we need to see.
Yeah.
So I didn't mention Marlena. She was at the party. I almost put it in my hands. Why was Marlena at the party? She seemed to be an and one.
I mean, she comes across as somebody who was like in this social circle just enough to get an invite.
Yeah, she seems very like Venn diagram-ish. Like, I know you guys, but I really don't spend time with you. Yeah, she really felt like a plus one. But
she wasn't. Like, she was just like, she wasn't with anybody there because HUD clearly had a thing for her.
Yeah, it's like, and she didn't know who he was, and like, we've met like 5 times. Like,
and she was so dismissive of him too.
Very much so. But it's TJ Miller. She knew what was coming.
Yeah.
She's like,
no, I mean, male perm.
Yeah. It wasn't even HUD she was dismissive of. It was just TJ Miller.
It was TJ Miller. She didn't even know they were rolling.
No, it's like I thought this was a real party.
Thus the cup with Lizzie on it.
Exactly. Right. That's why I'm here. And so Rob, Jason, Lily, and HUD, they go hide out in a convenience store. Like they're trying to get off the street, which you were off the street in your apartment, but whatever. So they're dodging and bobbing and weaving because there's crowds everywhere. There's smoke, there's debris.
Yeah.
A lot of, honestly, early on gave a lot of like 9/11 vibes.
Yeah.
Like if you've seen the 9/11 real footage, like some of this early on really gave that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Billowing smoke and debris, and
there's definitely some parallels there.
Yeah, and for sure. And they leave this convenience store. And they run into Marlena, who again was not with the group, she was at the party, but everyone kind of scattered because, again, this party was full of people, and we're following 4 of them, so everyone else took off. Marlena being one of them, but they come across her.
She's very disoriented,
like outside of a Sephora or something, like to let you know we're in New York, in case you didn't know. But yeah, very, like you said, very disoriented, very much in shock. And she's like, she even said, I saw it eating people. Like, we don't know what it is. We got a glimpse, but again, they're doing this on purpose. So they're like, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of Manhattan because that's where we are. And Manhattan's an island, and you have to cross a bridge to get off an island. So let's head out. And HUD is filming the entire time. I thought New York was bigger.
That might come up later.
Same. Yeah. I thought New York was a little bigger than this, but whatever. Apparently the Brooklyn Bridge is like 2 blocks away
from everything.
And so they head to the bridge. They're going to evacuate Manhattan. Not a bad idea. When Rob somehow gets a message from Beth, because in all this panic, I got to check my phone. Like, I got a notification. It's Beth. Beth is trapped in her apartment. She lives over the Time Warner Center, not just some rinky-dink apartment. She lives at the top of the Chrysler building, or, it's just, it's silly.
Well, and it's like ground zero for what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. She left this party with this guy, apparently beelined home.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't gone from this party very often, but thankfully New York isn't that big. So
it's a quaint village.
She got home real quick.
Yeah.
And so basically she's reaching out to Rob. I'm trapped in my apartment. And now
I can't move.
I can't move. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get the idea. Is she pinned? Is she trapped? Either way, we've got a motive. We've got a motive for the actions of the movie now. Everybody's trying to get across the Brooklyn Bridge. They kind of get split up because of the flow of people.
Yeah. Well, it's Rob gets the voicemail and he stops as they cross the bridge.
He like steps aside,
and Jason gets swept up in the crowd further ahead.
And so he climbs the light pole, as you do. Thankfully, the crowd was staying fairly quiet, so when Jason was yelling back from a couple hundred feet away, they could hear him.
Yeah, it's the microphone of those cameras was beyond.
Guys, shh! Trying to talk to my brother. But
HUD had a boom mic with him the whole time too.
Yeah. And somehow he never dipped it in frame, which is impressive.
No, he was committed to this.
He's very, very committed. And so, HUD's still filming everything, but like you said, Rob, Lily, Marlena, and HUD stop. Jason, like you said, gets swept up, and then he climbs this pole, this post or whatever. Everyone's trying to cross the Brooklyn Bridge, and this giant tentacle or tail or something just swipes down and just wipes out the bridge.
Yeah.
Including Jason.
Like right on top of him.
Like smash.
Just pancakes him. Yeah.
Yeah. Which obviously Lily goes into hysterics because that's my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so Rob just watched his brother get killed. Like,
he's in shock.
And it's like, what? Like, what is going on? This creature's very fast, but thankfully New York's not that big.
It's very homey.
Bowl at a china shop.
Yep. Oh, monster.
We catch some news reports as, because obviously nobody is so distraught that they actually evacuate. We got to send the news crews out. This isn't get out. This is go film.
They end up in like a Best Buy or something like that.
Yeah, they go in the walls of TVs, which again, at least there's a reason to have television.
Yeah. There's people looting, but there's there's people looting who stopped to watch the news in the Best Buy.
Yeah. And Rob, the reason they go in is because Rob's battery's about to die and he needs a phone, or he needs a battery, because this was 2008 where you could replace the battery in your phone. Now you got to replace your phone. So they go in there and we get footage of like the National Guard is attacking the monster. Again, we get glimpses. We don't see a full monster yet, but we do see these like ticks or parasites,
like little parasites
falling off the monster, and these things are still like 2.5, 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like they're big. They're gross too.
Oh yeah, they are.
So the plan now is Rob has to go save Beth. I have to. She's a damsel in distress, and I have to go.
Well, he just lost his brother.
Yeah.
And one of the things, again, this is something I didn't pick up on the first time watching in the theater, but I paid extra attention this time around. And, you know, back at the party, you know, after Rob and Beth had their argument and she left, you know, Jason kind of pulled him aside and basically called him out, like, and I'm paraphrasing here, but like, you know, you don't think you're good enough for her. Right. And was basically just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And it's like, dude, she's right there. Like, you're worthy. Yeah. You got to believe in yourself.
And so not only is his brother dead, but, and not only obviously does he still have feelings for Beth as well, but he kind of acts on his brother's sort of last wish, or like the last real conversation they had. Go get her.
Yeah. Good point. Feels, I could have put Drag Me to Hell in my movie Marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As person at bank who's looking for promotion because they don't feel good enough for their significant other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only Beth is not as good as Justin Long.
Yeah. And there's no talking goats in this.
And there's no talking goats. But no, there's a little bit of that of like, I don't believe in myself yet. Mm-hmm. So you're right. I like that. I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. Rob's like, I got to do it. Like, plus, I mean, she called him, so it's like he feels like I got to do it.
Yeah, he feels responsible to go.
So we do get we get like a walking tour of New York as they're headed up. They're headed up Midtown.
It's like a Chicago architectural boat tour.
I was hoping I'd like to be a crew on segways with helmets on and like. But no, we're headed. You know, we're headed through Midtown because we got to get to Beth's apartment. Mm-hmm. You know, there's just it's a mission. We're on a mission. Yeah. We're on a quest. Really, there's a lot of ins and outs. They come onto the street and they turn and there's the creature.
Yeah,
and they're like in awe of. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, like a block away.
Yeah, and then immediately right behind him is like the full force of the American army.
Yeah. Like an RPG flies over their head.
Yeah. I don't know how they missed that. Like the army sneaking up behind him. But whatever. Guy. It's supposed to be the Secret Service.
Wait, those are the other guys.
Yeah. Those are those guys. But yeah, it's like RPG, like,
they got a tank mobilized.
Yeah. So again, but it's just a glimpse. Like we see each time we see the monster, the creature, we see a little bit more of it.
Yeah.
And we see the indestructibility of it. Like again, it just took an RPG and it's just walked off.
Yeah.
Rob and crew then like ducked down into the subway, you know, because it's right there, like, you know, there's our outlet.
Well, it's the monster as well as just, you know, the artillery that's being fired over their heads.
Yeah, the chaos of all of it, and again, it's right on the street we're on. Yeah. And so they again head down to the subway. They figure, you know what? It's New York. The subways go everywhere. We're safer down here. Mm-hmm. They do find themselves in a dark tunnel. One of my favorite scenes from the movie. They're walking fine. HUD's still doing his HUD stuff. He's nervous talking all the time. And it gets dark. And so he's like, wait, there's like night vision on here. Because Marlene is talking to him and he can't see her. So he turns and he flips on the night vision, but the focus doesn't grab Marlena, who's right in front of him. It grabs the creatures that are crawling on the ceiling behind her as they drop down and attack. And it's just a fun scene.
I love the moment just right before that happens when there's hundreds of rats.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that are running in the same direction they're walking, and the rats are running faster than they're walking. So clearly, all these rats are running away from something.
Yeah. So they're attacked by these parasites. Marlena gets bit, and it's pretty gross. Like,
it's pretty gross.
Like we don't see how gross it is right now as they fight these parasites off and rescue Marlena. And of course, find an open doorway in the subway because there's always one. Yeah. You know, and they get it locked in, but then they like peel off like her top a little bit off her shoulder, and you just see this really gross looking bite mark.
Like it bit like right down on top of her shoulder, so she's got wounds like in the front and in the back.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. And so they get out of the tunnels, they go into Bloomingdale's. As why not? As you do. And
it was Black Friday.
It's like, why are you looting Best Buy? Like, loot Bloomingdale's.
I know, right? It's right there.
TVs are cheap these days. And Bloomingdale's has also been infiltrated by some soldiers. Like, basically Bloomingdale's has turned into like this field hospital.
But yes, you beat me to it. That's exactly what it is. There's
triage kind of.
There's some researchers there too.
Yeah.
Like they're collecting specimens. And,
right.
Yeah.
And so, they're checking them out, and they know Marlena's bitten, but again, they're all in shock.
Yeah.
So it's not like, can you tend to my friend? But they get to Marlena. She starts bleeding from her eyes.
The camera backs to her, cuts back to her. She's like, guys, I don't feel that good.
Yeah. Real
she's
woozy.
Bleeding from her eye, like every face hole she's bleeding out of.
Just real pale. To which then the biohazard team snatches her up.
Yeah,
and
we got a bite.
Yeah, they do. They're like,
she's got the bite.
The bite. Zengaya. I would have loved if that was the research team.
Yeah. They just grab a machete and just chop her arm off.
The bite.
She hasn't had a good custard in years.
Your mother ate my dog. And so, they take Marlena away. We get it's fine, but it's the goofy, we're going to take her behind this thin plastic that's backlit so that we can see the silhouette of what's happening. Long story short, Marlena just explodes.
She basically,
she just
blows up.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what happened from that bite, but she didn't feel good. And she Augustus gloobed it.
Yeah, she did. I think I was reading. I think it was the IMDb trivia that someone was speculating on like how in the world she would have exploded from the bite.
Right.
And the two prevailing theories are, one of them was very similar to Alien, where something burst out of her.
Yeah, impregnated her or something.
Yeah, and the second one was there was some enzyme in in the bite, and that basically caused her to like rapidly bloat.
Okay. Yeah, I could see both of them. But yeah, I mean, does it scientifically make sense? It doesn't matter.
Like, whatever. But Lizzie Kaplan exploded.
Lizzie Kaplan blew up. Yes.
Yeah. Her blood splattered Lizzie on the on the plastic sheet.
Yeah. The whole time she thought this was real.
Yeah.
Rob is like, oh, that sucks. Let's go get Beth. And so Marlena. he talks one of the military men into letting him go.
Yeah. Because they had shared they were gonna, that there's evacuation helicopters coming, and they even heard over the radio, like, we're gonna, what is it, project something, like, was it Hammer Down?
Yeah,
I think we're Hammer Down is coming at dawn, and so
the Hammer Down protocol.
Yeah, it's so like, they were evacuating too.
Yeah, it's basically, we all have to get out of here. We've lost. We can't contain or control this thing. We're just gonna blow it up. Like,
we're gonna blow up Manhattan.
We're gonna blow up, New York. And then turn it into a federal prison.
I like to think that this is in the same universe as Escape from New York.
President Pleasance gave us the okay.
President Donald Pleasance. And I'll explain why Tom Atkins was there.
I would prefer that President Donald over.
Oh, really? You're not wrong.
I'd take President Donald Pleasance.
I would, even if he was dead like he is these days.
Even if he was the president from Escape from New York.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. As long as he gets to shoot somebody and yell, you're number one.
Yeah, you're number one.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
So Rob and crew, they're gonna leave. Like, again, it's really Rob, Hud, and Lily.
Yeah,
that's who's left. They're like, well, the evacuation helicopters are leaving because we can't win. We've got to just nuke the whole place.
Yeah.
So they get to Beth's apartment, and we find that she's like exposed piece of rebar. She's kind of impaled on it.
Yeah.
It's not deadly, but obviously she's hurt. Like she's injured.
It's like the place everyone gets, like every hero gets shot in like the upper shoulder.
Exactly. Yeah. To where
like,
there's no organ damage up there at all.
It somehow misses major arteries.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very strategically placed rebar wound. Yeah. The set of this was, I remember even the first time I watched it, I was a little eye rolly because like up to this point, everything looked pretty. I've never been to New York, but everything at least was passable. New York. Yeah. The set on this, it really felt like they filmed this on like a set.
Yeah. Especially once they got to the rooftop.
Exactly. Like, because it's like the distance, it just felt very like
artificial.
Yeah. So, but again, they save Beth. So that let's get out of here. We got to, they head to like Grand Central Station or whatever, where they run into the creature again. Makes you almost think this the creature after them. Not really, but it's like they're the only, like
maybe she drifted. Going back to last week, maybe she drifted with the Cloverfield's brother's brain.
It was. I think it was the parasite
Charlie Day. Yeah.
When the parasite bit Marlena, it bonded.
Yes, there you go. It got her memories.
Yes, it bonded, and they're like, "We know where you're going, Hud, and we don't like you either."
We don't like you, TJ Hudson.
So
TJ Miller. Who's TJ Hudson? Is he an NBA player?
Oh, he might be.
What did I just reference? I'm Googling it.
I am too.
TJ Hudson.
He's a politician, lieutenant governor of Georgia. I don't think
I don't know. I don't know where I got that from.
That's all right.
TJ Hudson. I think William Shatner played him, right?
Probably.
No, that was TJ Hooker.
What was the action show they watched on RoboCop? Was that like TJ Laser or something like that?
Yeah, it was TJ
Laser. So they make it to the helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
Lily is, because again, if you're paying attention, Rob and Beth are the only two that matter.
Yeah.
And Hud matters because he's our cameraman.
Yeah.
Like that. Jason died. No surprise. Lily dies. No surprise.
Does Lily die?
Well, fair. Lily gets rushed she's separated from the group.
Yeah.
And put on one helicopter. Rob, Beth, and Hud are put on a second one. And again, we're seeing now the aerial view. Again, really like this movie would have been like sweet video game cinematics too. Because like they're like, hey, let's get the camera up in a helicopter now. It's like they did a really good job of doing some creative things with found footage camera.
Yeah.
Because obviously it wouldn't have made any sense for HUD to get an aerial view unless we get him on a helicopter.
Yeah. He's being rescued.
Yeah. And so, but you're right about the Lily thing. I guess when I said died, what I probably should have said was removed from the group.
Sure.
Like she doesn't matter. So Rob, Beth, and HUD are on a second helicopter. They're watching the creature just get bombed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just, and the creature falls.
They see there's a stealth.
Yeah.
That's literally dropping almost looks like napalm or something.
Right. Like they are peppering this creature.
Yeah.
And the creature falls and there's smoke and it's like, oh, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Rob, Beth, and HUD are on one helicopter as out of the smoke jumps the monster and it smacks the helicopter that they're on, causing it to crash in Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
These three survive the crash because they're supposed to.
Yeah, nobody else does.
Nobody else does. These three survive. And they get out of the wreckage. Nobody's hurt, despite the helicopter crash.
Yeah.
Rob was hurt. Like he twisted his ankle or something. Like he's not,
I skinned my knee.
Ow.
Does anyone have any Bactine?
I pulled a hammy. Like
he's gonna just put him on the 15-day DL.
Exactly. Yeah, he'll be fine. So for the first time, pretty much in the whole movie, we see, outside of the party, we see HUD.
Mm-hmm.
Like he sets the camera down to go help Rob.
Yeah.
But of course, sets the camera down pointing at Rob so that we can see the action.
Yeah.
And when HUD, again, this they aren't their hearing is bad because again, they came onto the street earlier and completely missed the entire United States Army, like 10 feet away from him.
Not very self-aware.
No. Well, and here, like, HUD comes back to pick up the camera and realizes the creature is right there in Central Park. Like,
standing right over him.
Standing over him. Rob didn't see it. Beth didn't see it.
Nope.
HUD didn't see it. They didn't see it because the camera wasn't pointing at it. Like, really, that's what it boils down to. It wouldn't have been fair for them to see it before we saw it. Correct. So, yeah, HUD still picks up the camera and points it right up at the monster.
Yeah.
Because he's looking up at the monster. And the monster, like, just clamps, like, he drops the camera as it basically bites him in half.
Yeah. There's some pretty gross sounds that go
there are. There. There's a lot of gushy, ooey stuff going on.
Yeah, like stirring jelly.
Yeah. So Rob and Beth grab the camera because...
why not?
Yeah. In HUD's memory. We got to do it for HUD.
He would have wanted this.
Yeah. I think the Department of Defense is going to want this. And they take shelter under another, like, New York landmark. Wikipedia says it's the Gray Shot Arch. We're getting nitpicky now.
Sure. Like, it's by the caramel corn cart.
Exactly. It's one of the lessers. Like, and we hear air raid sirens, and Beth and Rob kind of talking to the camera a little bit. We get this last, like, you know, just things are happening. They know they're about to die. Like, they didn't get out before the hammer down protocol.
Yeah. Well, they were told by that soldier back at Bloomingdale's that, like, if you hear the air raid siren, you're too close.
It's too close. The arch begins to crumble. That knocks the camera out of Rob's hand. Thankfully, it lands pointing right at him.
It lands in a giant pillow pile.
Exactly. It didn't land and break the glass or anything. They proclaim their love for each other. The bombing commences. Again, reminder, this is all one tape.
Yeah. And
Rob had made a comment earlier because he had recorded, because I don't blame Beth for leaving. Hey, Beth, I know that we just had an intimate time together, but you mind if I record you while you lay in bed? I'm going to go ahead and record our entire date this day too.
Yeah.
If that's okay. Because this is a big deal for me, because we're soulmates.
Got to show this off.
It's no one's going to believe me. The view we had of Central Park. And so as this like real time footage crackles out, like freezes, footage cuts, and it goes back to the I started to say it and missed over it. Rob had asked HUD at one point, did you switch the tape out? And HUD's like, what tape? Rob then realizes that whole date day is now being recorded over.
Yeah.
From a month ago with Beth. That was at the party.
Yeah.
Here we are, end of the current footage, and now the old footage that's left, like you said, plays out. And we get they're at Coney Island. Rob he can't stop looking at Beth with the camera on his shoulder, and he kind of pans and looks out over the water. They're talking about how just a great day it is. And if you pay attention, you're not going to see it if you're not looking for it.
Yeah.
You see something from the upper right-hand part of the screen come flying into view. It's very faint, and we see it splash into the water we're like way out there.
Yeah.
In the water. And what was it? Well, clearly you could put together that it was this monster falling to Earth.
It was a SpaceX ship.
Exactly. Yeah. It was another failed launch.
Yeah.
And so, that's the end of the movie. There is a credit scene where there's some voice, again, just fun little, like, gaming the audience, that the footage says, like, help us. But then I guess if it's played in reverse, I saw this on Wikipedia, it says, like, it's still alive, which they've never made a true sequel to this movie, so who cares? But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my first contribution to Kaiju Movie Month.
Yes, that's Cloverfield. All right, hey folks, at this point in the show, Oz and I each give our own unique rating to the film we've been yapping about. Cloverfield. Hey, Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm going to give this 784 Robs.
784 Robs. That could be any Rob.
I think HUD said the word Rob about 784 times. Rob. It's like TJ, when you're reading the script, you don't have to say the name that's in front of the line that's written there. A lot of Robs in this one. So that's my rating. What are you giving it?
I'm just going to give it 1 square block of New York City.
Okay. That's not very big.
It's not big.
This whole movie was filmed in that 1 square block.
It's like you can get anywhere from that square block. Be there in 5 minutes. Hey, folks, every week Oz and I scour the interwebs searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well in this week's edition of Outside Insights. Hey, Oz, what's your outside insight?
I have an outside insight from Amy Hagberg.
Amy Hagberg.
Amy Hammond Hagberg.
I think she directed Clueless, I think.
I think she did. She used to be married to Mitch. Mitch Hagberg, that stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
This is an Amazon review left March 20th of this year.
Oh, very recent.
She says, not my jam. 1-star review. In an attempt to bond with my son, we watched Cloverfield together one evening this week. I didn't like the first-person perspective, the story, or how creeped out I was. I did, however, get brownie points after a mom, and for a mom, that's priceless.
Aww. It's like a Hallmark commercial.
Yeah, I'm a little distant from my son, and I thought I'd give this movie a watch, and I didn't like it. But
I thought I'd watch an inappropriate movie with him.
I didn't really like it, but I got the brownie points, and that's what matters.
He high-fived me when Lizzie Kaplan blew up. Did you see that, Mom? Sweet.
Oh, Beth is smoking, Mom. Check her out.
I was very unsettled while watching this movie, but I learned a lot about my son.
Yeah, his name's probably Troy or something.
Or TJ.
Or TJ, yeah.
TJ,
Mom, check this out.
Mom, Rob.
Rob. So that's my outside insight. What do you got?
Mine, as always, comes from the Internet Movie Database, and it was left on January 20th, 2008, so literally a couple of weeks after the film debuted in theaters. It's left by Callum, Kaelum. How not to make a movie is the subject line.
I love it.
This movie is by far the worst movie I've seen in over 10 years. The entire movie is shot handheld without any stabilizers. What this means is it makes you dizzy unless you're stoned. And you may even puke before you could make it to the toilet. I saw several people running out of the movie, and most likely for that reason. Storyline's nothing new. It's just a rehash of several other movies mixed in a blender and puked out on the screen.
Oh, man.
Think about it. If you are jumping or running around, does the entire world shake around you? Your brain forces your eyes to focus on individual objects so that you don't get sick. When the entire movie frame shakes, your brain is not capable of focusing your eyes at a single point, as your body is not physically involved in the action. This movie gets a 0 out of 10. Don't waste your money. See it on DVD. It's that bad.
This movie completely disregarded the science of vision.
Hey, puke before you make it to the toilet.
You have so much better like outside insights than I do.
I mean, the Internet Movie Database, I don't know. I just feel like it's a
I agree.
Repository for the stupid.
I think the one time I went to IMDb for a review, we pulled the same review, which is why I don't go there anymore.
Just to avoid that.
You've peed on that fire hydrant, so it's yours.
Thank you for letting me claim that.
You've puked on that toilet.
I puked all over the toilet.
It's yours.
Oh, the other night, speaking of puke, our daughter, I went to Dairy Queen, and she's really into freezes right now. That's
okay.
It's like
I like a good freeze.
I do
freeze.
Yeah, that's for our listeners of yours. That's the half ice cream, half slush.
Oh, they're good.
It is good. She got a cherry freeze, and when our daughter vomits, like when she gets sick,
told me this.
She freezes. Like, no pun intended that she got a freeze,
right.
but like it just, it just takes her over, and she just doesn't move. She doesn't hear what we're saying to her. She just stands and vomits.
Well, all of the energy her body would use for everything else goes into the projection of said vomit.
So she coated the entryway of her bedroom, the hallway from her room down to the bathroom, and the entire bathroom floor.
What is it with your daughter and puking on doors?
Yeah. I told the story. I think when she puked all over the restaurant foyer.
Yeah, the same restaurant 2 different times.
2 times. Yeah,
both times with ice cream.
Yes,
and this time with ice cream. I'm not even her dad, and I'm seeing a theme here.
She likes ice cream. Who am I to deny her ice cream?
If you're going to feed her ice cream, make sure she's eating it outdoors. Or at least in the bathroom by the toilet.
She pukes on the toilet. I'll tie a little bib around her next time.
Right.
That'll stop it.
Yeah, that'll get it.
What, at the restaurant, we figured it was lemonade.
Oh, okay.
And she hasn't puked since we've stopped allowing her to get lemonade at this restaurant. I don't think she had lemonade prior to the Dairy Queen a couple of days ago. So there's a new culprit.
Yeah, cherry freeze.
She's
gonna end up eating like rice cakes and tofu. At least if you puke up a rice cake, I think it just floats off. Like, yeah,
there's no it's zero viscosity.
It's anti-gravity too.
It is.
Just floats away.
It's like astronaut ice cream. Also anti-gravity for some reason.
Yeah, somehow.
Hey folks, it's that point in the show you've all been waiting for, the Let's Talk About Flicks signature segment, the 3, 2, 1, in which Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, only 1 But this week's movie, Cloverfield. Oz, my friend, what are your 3 goods?
My first one, this movie is a very fun first time watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a really cool first time watch, especially if you caught it when it came out right after the marketing.
In the zeitgeist.
Yeah. So a very cool first time watch. My second one, I do like that subway scene.
Yes.
Because it's the only time in the movie where our main characters like actually interacted with a creature. Sure. They spent the entire movie just seeing it and running from it until the very end, of course. Mm-hmm. But this time we actually like get to interact with it instead of just watching it be shot from a block away. Mm-hmm. And it just was fun. It was just from the rats to the run. We'll just go all the way to like Marlena's explosion. I'd consider that the end of the subway scene, even though they're out and in Bloomingdale's, but it wraps up that piece of that. So I really like that. And my third good is the battery life on this camera is excellent.
You're right. It is.
They went the entire night on not turning it off, filming the entire night, and not stopping. It reminds me, I'm not drawing a parallel to this movie at all, but this movie does, like, they never turn the camera off. So they span multiple hours of time in less than an hour and a half. And now we could kind of chalk it up to like the DOD or whatever, but we really never see him stop. It reminds me of that movie. Did you ever see 1917?
No, I haven't. It's the Sam Mendes. It's supposed to look like it's in one take. Yeah.
And he does a great job with it. It does look like it's one continuous take. And thankfully the movie is engaging enough, because there was one part where it slowed down a little bit and it kind of hit me in that one part that I'm like, wait a minute here. Like, you've just covered multiple hours. Like, you've covered an entire day in 45 minutes. Like, so a little bit of that here of like, suspend your belief, like just go with it. Yes. You saw several hours of runtime in an hour and 20 minutes. So, but no, the battery life on that camera was very impressive.
Pretty good. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Because I don't think, knowing that it was the tape Rob had in there, it probably wasn't fully charged before Lily gave the camera to Jason.
Yeah.
So, nice.
He was just running off of TJ Miller's good vibes.
It's right. Yeah. That's just it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what it is.
Well, most things keep running if TJ Miller's around.
That's true.
So, maybe that's it. Those are my 3 goods. What do you got?
Oh, let's go with... My first good is I'll just start with the the scene where they get caught between the monster and the National Guard, like that's where it really got really fast. And just sheer panic. And HUD is just screaming like, oh my God. And like, I think 3 of them, and like HUD ends up on one side of the street, and Rob, Lily, and Marlena end up on the other side of the street, and they all make it to the subway together. But that scene was pretty tense.
It was. I agree.
Yeah. So that's my first good. My second is we get a great song by Spoon. The Underdog plays during the party. So yeah. I noticed that this time around, like, that's Spoon is playing. That's some good stuff there.
I'm glad they chose Spoon instead of 1, 2, 3 Marlenas by the Wallflowers. That would have been a little too on the nose for this film.
Oh, and then my last good is right after HUD dies, the camera is trying to find it's like the camera is lying there next to his corpse, but it's trying to find its focus.
Yeah, it can't grab it.
And it's like zooming in on his face and then zooming out, and zooming in and zooming out. And I just thought that was just a fun little touch. Yeah.
I agree. Very cool.
So those are my 3 goods. Oz, what are your 2 bads?
My first one, Rob sucks. Like
Rob sucks.
He's just a drip. I get it. He's it's a chance for him to be that man of action and whatever, but ultimately it's like everything that you showed us about Rob leading up to it, he's just not I won't say he's not a likable character. He's dull. Like,
well, and even like this point in his life, like you saw the highest of highs and the lowest of lows within this month span.
So that it's just Rob just sucks. Like,
well, and he's self-hating, and
like we're supposed to be cheering for him, but he doesn't even cheer for himself.
His brother had to talk him into going after Beth,
right, and then had to die to make sure it happened.
Yeah, exactly. To inspire him to do it,
right. And it's like, I guess he redeems himself a little, but really it's like, even just he gets in that argument with Beth, even though he shows up and he's wanting to know if she's there, and then when she does show up, he's not even happy she's there.
Yeah.
Like, you're not together. Like get a net. So that's my first one, is Rob sucks.
Rob sucks.
My second one is I'll give a little bit to the whole, wow, what a great camera life, or great battery life on that camera. What I have a hard time giving credence to is walking across New York City in the span of an evening. New York City is enormous. And I know that you're not in all the boroughs here. You're just in Manhattan. Manhattan is enormous.
Yeah.
Enormous. And you guys have hit every part of Manhattan in a few hours on foot. Like, granted, there's not much traffic. I'll give you that. but still, like, they
covered a lot of ground.
Production team made the footprint of New York City look pretty small.
Yeah.
So that's my second bad. Sorry if I stole one from you.
No, that's fine. That might have been a but
okay, fair enough. What do you got?
For my first bad, let's just go with TJ Miller. Just, I mean, besides the TJ Miller stuff, he just gets irritating after a while.
Agreed.
And I understand he's coping by narrating, and he's talking a mile a minute, and and he even says, like, while they're on the Brooklyn Bridge in the first place, like they ask, like, why are you still recording? And he's like, it's like, this is important. So like, I get the impression that, like, he's coping, like he found purpose in keeping the camera going, and that was really what kept him grounded enough to function. But it's a lot. So that's
and I don't like. I think TJ Miller, I agree with you 100%. I think he's funny. Like, I think he's competent as a comedic actor. Granted, his personal life got in the way, but let's pretend that personal life doesn't intervene. Like, he's fine in this. He's fine in what was that show he's on, like the IT Crowd.
Yeah.
I think he was fine in Deadpool. Like I said, he's a competent, like, comedic actor. But like you said, that's for him to be our narrator. Like,
yeah. It was just a lot.
Agreed.
So that's my first bad. And my second bad is right after they get attacked in the subway, they're able to find, you know, they find a, I don't know, like a side room, and they barricade themselves off from these parasites, and they're helping Marlena recover and cleaning her wounds. And the camera just lingers on a Mountain Dew machine in the background. And that's
why.
Yeah.
Especially when they created like a fictional soda brand for this movie, like Slusho or something like that.
Yeah.
It would have made more sense for it to be a Slusho machine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or at least have something that most people can stomach, you
right?
Know, as opposed to about it could be like a Hawaiian Punch machine.
Yeah. Or even Pepsi. Like what? Like whatever.
Orange Slice.
Yeah, exactly. Shasta.
Dad's root beer.
Jones Cola.
Especially the Brussels sprout favorite.
Especially the Thanksgiving theme.
Thanksgiving theme, yes.
Pack.
But yeah, pick a better soda than Mountain Dew if you're gonna linger on something.
Yeah.
So that's my second bad.
That's fair.
Oz, what's your
I've got two.
Okay, let's hear them.
My first one is, this is more genre than it is movie. Mm-hmm. Why does the person with the camera in a found footage film always point the camera where they look? Nobody ever looks away from the camera's vantage point. They always, like, everything is turning their whole body to look at something. They don't move their neck, they move their torso. And
maybe HUD was born without peripheral vision.
Maybe he's got on the Michael Keaton Batman cowl and he can't turn his neck.
he's wearing horse blinders. At one point they came across a horse pulling a carriage with nobody in it. He took the blinders off.
He took the blinders. I don't want to see them on. Yeah. So that's obviously you have to have the camera pointing at things. I get that. But it just, when you think too much, like if a person's carrying the camera, why do you keep turning your entire body to look at something? My second, and this is movie specific, is everybody knew that Beth and Rob weren't together.
Mm-hmm.
So why invite Beth to the party? That just because Rob's not over her, like Beth, you guys aren't together for whatever reason. You broke up. Why invite her?
Yeah,
like just odd.
Yeah, it is.
Aside from plot point, blah blah blah, but still, like, just why'd you invite her for? I mean, because again, this is Lily, who, she's best friend, but this is like Lily is Rob's future sister-in-law.
Yeah. Like,
this isn't like, I'm going to invite my friend regardless. Like, no, you leave her out. And then when she showed up, she ruined it anyway.
Yeah. Beth. Although it kind of goes back to Rob sucks too.
Yeah, it's true.
I will say, it sounds like he never followed up. He just ghosted her. After
because he didn't think he was worthy.
Yeah. Like, you know, they had this great evening and this great day out at Coney Island, and then he just ghosted her, you know, because he didn't feel like he was worthy. So I agree with everything you said, but I think part of that goes back to Rob sucks.
Rob sucks, yeah. And what, like, I don't know. It's just ghosting people stupid.
Yeah.
Especially when you're hung up on her still. Like, you ghosted her, and then you're like,
and then you're moping about, man.
Oh man.
If only I talked to her more.
I know. God, if only Rob would have done something about this.
I just had sex with this beautiful woman and had the best day of my life.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh man. Probably shouldn't call her again. She seemed really into me, but
yeah.
I'm not good enough to deal with that.
No, I'm not good enough to call her again.
I need to get promotion at bank. She'll believe in me then.
If only I moved to Tokyo. Maybe, maybe.
I don't. Was it Tokyo or was it just Japan? Like,
I thought it was Tokyo.
It may have been. It probably was. It probably was. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna, I mean, that's the Godzilla tie-in, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, whatever. Now, this isn't Rob being a samurai. This is. What's your What do you got?
Oh, I don't like any of my H's, but I right after, I mean, kind of going back to the Mountain Dew scene, mm-hmm. the Mountain Dew machine scene. You know, as they're patched up her wounds, they're also calm and they're like joking around and stuff.
Ooh, boy,
like they literally were just attacked by alien parasites.
Yeah,
and their friend has this huge gaping wound on her shoulder. And they're well, that was really something, wasn't it?
Oh boy. Holy cow.
Wow.
They should have poured some Mountain Dew into that wound to see what happened.
Well, that would have killed anything.
It would have got it. Yeah. Marlena would have lived.
Yes, she would have. It's like, you pour Mountain Dew, like to scrape grease off of the stove,
Yeah.
It's the magic salve for everything.
Exactly. It's that neon green ointment.
It's like in the Hunger Games when Woody Harrelson sends Jennifer Lawrence that like cream to put on.
Yeah.
It's Mountain Dew. It's what it is.
just cream dew.
It's just Mountain Dew they left behind the radiator.
It's true.
Left it out. Some of that on there.
If you leave it out in the air for too long, it does cream up like that. Yeah.
Cream of dew. Brought to you by PepsiCo.
Yeah, I wonder if Dr. Dew's done anything with that yet.
Dr. Dew.
Yeah.
I think you can find cream of dew at your local CVS.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. and AutoZone.
And AutoZone. Does the same thing, yeah.
Right. Oh.
All right, well, hey folks, that's Cloverfield.
That's Cloverfield.
That's 2008's Cloverfield, the second movie in Kaiju month. And Oz, a moment ago, you kind of dropped a little hint there.
A little bit, not on purpose.
Yes, as to what's coming next. I'm assuming that Rob is moving to Japan, thinking he's also going to go back in time as well.
Yes, probably
to the 1945.
It is a different time zone.
It is, yeah.
And he doesn't understand time zones.
No, he clearly doesn't.
If I go to a different time, then yeah, it should be whatever time I want.
So, Oz, we are going to go just a couple of years prior to the time of this recording. This might be one of the more recent films that we've covered on the show.
Right.
We are next week. We're going to take on Godzilla -1.
I've not seen this movie. Fair. You want to know a secret? You guys want to know something? All right. I've not seen any Godzilla movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll be my first one. Actually, my first negative one.
There you go. To be more exact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it once. It was in like 20-minute chunks over the course of several mornings as I'm on the treadmill.
And not chronologically.
No. It was just random 20-minute intervals.
That's how I watch movies.
Yep. I just close my eyes and hit fast forward, and then I watch it.
All right.
And then I fast forward again, and then I watch it.
Yeah, before I press play, I go to the 20-minute mark, and I watch to the 40-minute mark.
I started it. I'm like 15 minutes into my second viewing. I started earlier today. I might watch a little bit more tonight and see how far I can get. But yeah, very good movie.
I've heard
made on for a type of movie like this, made on a shoestring budget as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, like $10-15 million.
Yeah, and it looks like it had 10 times the budget.
That's great.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah, it's good film.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Having not watched, I'm familiar enough with the Godzilla mythos.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to watch any prior Godzilla movies for anything in this movie to make sense?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So I can skip the Matthew Broderick one.
I would say skip the Matthew Broderick one in general.
Anyway. Yeah. Because I thought that was the prequel to this one.
Yes, unless you wanna rub cream of dew in your eyes.
Cream of dew. This seems to have an all Japanese cast.
Mm-hmm.
So filmed in Hollywood. I'm kidding. Yeah. Subtitled, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is subbed and dubbed.
Okay.
Whichever you prefer. I started watching the
it's actually version. Someone reading the subtitles.
It's just an infinite loop.
Yeah.
Someone reading the subtitles.
Right. So subbed and dubbed. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Couple hours long. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, good movie. Very good movie. Not what you'll expect.
Okay. Is Godzilla a housewife? Because I'm expecting that.
a bored housewife.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh. Husband's away at work.
Oh gosh, he's always gone.
So lonely.
He got promotion at bank.
At bank. Gonna have to move to Tokyo.
Had to go to New York.
Oh man, Rob sucks.
He got filled in for some guy named Rob that apparently has moved over here.
Scab my knee. I hope we got some more some cream of dew in the medicine cabinet.
Oh Lord. I'm looking at cream of dew. It doubles as a nightlight. Like
it does. You just shake it a little bit and it glows for hours.
It comes in a translucent can, and it will radiate light and heat in your home.
It does. It's an energy source in a pinch.
Yeah, it's WD-41 is the more specific term for it.
You know how like a potato can power a lamp?
Yeah, it's cream of dew can do a lot.
You just take the light bulb and you just turn it upside down and just rub it in the cream.
Yeah, in an Uncle Fester's. Cream of dew.
Cream of dew. Yep. I think I gotta trademark that.
Yeah, well, Pepsi's gonna beat us to it. If we trademark it quick, we can sell that trademark to Pepsi.
Yes, we can. We get that big Pepsi money.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, YouTube Longs.
Those too,
right? You can watch whatever version of whatever length of YouTube you want.
Yeah.
But no, we also want to give
just our videos at 0.5 speed.
It's true. Yeah. Really slow down.
Cream of dew.
Cream of dew. Chicago Indie Critics, check them out.
Yes. The cream of the crop, the Chicago Indie Critics.
Yeah, that is a different kind of cream.
Yeah, that's not cream. Chicago Indie Critics, cream of the crop.
Yeah, they're not the cream of the dew. They're the cream of the crop.
Oh yeah, nobody does it better.
The Chicago Indie Critics. Yeah. So, but no, that's it. We'll be back next week for Godzilla -1 for another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks. I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
We'll see you guys next week.